was so incredibly nervous the entire day. I was pacing literally the entire day. I think I had like 17,000 steps from pacing. I checked my Fitbit and it was like at 17,000. I was like, wow, I haven't been outside. I've just been walking around the same exact room this entire time. But I just knew that there was very high expectations and that there had been like this high bar for so long about this match, and everybody was excited to see it. I'm extremely nervous. This is probably the biggest match of my career, so just ready to go out there and kill it. No butterflies yet. I'll probably have those in a couple hours. We're semi-main event, so we're not gonna wrestle for a little while, but I'm ready. I'm just gonna warm up and hopefully kill it.
Bound for Glory is obviously Impact's biggest pay-per-view, and I remember watching, back in the days of TNA, so many of my favorite wrestlers perform on this pay-per-view and put on absolutely amazing matches. So, it was kind of surreal to stop and think and say, hey, now I am one of those wrestlers. Personally, if I get nervous, it just throws me off, so I don't allow myself to get nervous. Instead, I focus on what needs to be done, and I just get those things done. I mean, for example, my gear wasn't even ready until 8:30 last night, so I had to run around and blow dry it and then get dressed about 2 matches before mine went out. But I wasn't even stressed out because, when you're ready, you're ready.
Me and Masha have a very similar wrestling style, and we think very similarly about wrestling. And just from the moment that we knew that we were wrestling each other, we just immediately were just like, well, we're just gonna beat the shit out of each other because that's what everybody's expecting. That's what we need to do, and that's what makes us different from everybody else, is because we're not afraid to get hurt.
I guess since I was a kid, I always found myself somewhat attracted to violence and never really attracted to the protagonist and more so the antagonist. So I think this kind of style just fits me as a person, fits whatever persona that people see. So I think one goes hand in hand.
There is a super high bar. It's definitely going to be super physical. One of us is going to get, or both of us are probably going to get hurt. We're going to beat each other up pretty bad, to be honest with you. Like real life. She hits really hard, I hit really hard, so it's probably going to be one of the hardest hitting matches of my entire career. Not exaggerating. Probably one of the best nights of my life. It was awesome. I mean, I stayed up until 6 a.m. with my husband just because I was so full of adrenaline and energy from the match. It's very rare that you get to wrestle someone that you have such incredible chemistry with, and I think I had that with Masha.
In there, and I love that, and I know she does. So I think it was perfect because it was just 2 people beating the shit out of each other.
You kind of feel it right away, like from the moment you touch the other person, whether it's like punch or a strike or you're chain wrestling, you feel the chemistry immediately, and you can kind of know what each other's bodies are gonna do before it even happens, and it's very difficult to explain. And I feel like only wrestlers who've experienced this kind of chemistry with another wrestler can truly relate. But that is, I think, exactly what happened in that match.
Feels like it legitimized a lot of things. I feel like I got to show more of what I'm capable of, things that people even here at Impact for the last year haven't gotten to see. It's important to me because I believe that with time and with hard work and with more learning that my abilities are endless, and I think that moments like this I get to showcase what I'm truly capable of And one of those things is working well under pressure. That is something I've been good at throughout my whole life, and I think when I'm put in these situations, that will be my best performances.
Last night made everything that I've been through, every mean word that's been said to me, every time I've cried about wrestling, every time I've wanted to give up, last night made it all worth it. I love it. I have to do it. This is my destiny. I need to do it. I feel like I've worked so hard all this time, and I want more people to not just see me, but to see Impact, and I really want to put Impact on the map and keep having these matches that bring fans to Impact. So the locker room that I'm here with today, I would not be where I'm at right now without any of them, just because all the women have supported me all this time. I wore a two-piece for the first time in my career yesterday, and that's because of all the girls back there just making me confident enough to do it. And I truly feel like me going out there and kind of showing everybody my transformation, not just as a wrestler, but as a human being, is a representation that if I can do it, I really feel like anybody can do it.
Thank you so much. That was fucking awesome. Thank you. Good job. Good job. Good job.
I feel the best people, the best wrestlers always question themselves whether or not you are good enough. It's like, that imposter syndrome. We are in the main event of the biggest show of the year, and I knew what we were trying to follow, what we had to follow. We had to follow Masha, and we had to follow Jordynne in these big matches, and it's like, before we're going out, there's the pressure, there's the worry. I put the most pressure on myself, I think. The good ones do. It's like, well, this is our spot. We have to go out there and we have to deliver, because if not, I might never be back here again. Maybe they never give me that shot. Maybe I never get that shot again. The crazy thing is you get to the back and, people tell you good job and this and that, but, I'll see something and it's like, well, that should have been better. That should have been different, because that's the way I'm wired, and nothing's ever perfect and nothing's ever good enough, because when you get to that point, you're not going to keep doing it. And I'm very proud of that match that we had, but in the end, was it good enough? No, it can be. The next one can be better, and that questioning of myself will never go away. I am pretty sure of that, and I always want to strive to get better and do something better, and I think all the good ones do, and I think Josh is a guy just like that. Are we good enough? For the moment, hopefully, and the next one will be even better.
No, I don't think it'll ever be good enough. I think that's the one thing that makes me different, the one thing that sets me apart from a lot of people, the one thing that makes me, in the conversation for being a top guy, or in the conversation for being one of the best in-ring competitors in the world. It's the fact that it's never good enough, that I always keep pushing, I always keep working, and I always demand so much more of myself. If I was content, I think, I would just be complacent, and I wouldn't strive for being bigger and better, and I just think it's one of the traits that I have, and staying humble, keep grinding away and wanting to do more and more. That's what sets me apart.
Honestly, for me, it was a match that personified pro wrestling the way I feel pro wrestling should be. The pro wrestling that I grew up and watched and I'm a fan of. When I was out there, when we were going back and forth, we were going toe to toe, we were hitting each other, as hard as we can. The brutality, there was something beautiful about it to me. It was just brutal, beautiful. It was the sport of professional wrestling.
Early on in the match, he caught me with a boot right in the chin and teeth, and it swelled up this, and The chest is very red. Eddie Edwards is regarded in this business as having the hardest chops, or if not, the hardest, up there with among the hardest. Trained by the best, Noah, Young Lion, which was, the place where Kent Kobashi was one of the mainstay legend guys. So, he's the king of the knife edge chop. But yeah, my chest is torn up. I got some in my throat. Easter egg for you. The worst part, the most pain I felt yesterday was when I got back to the hotel room and I decided to have a shower, and the body wash that comes in these hotel rooms is something containing alcohol for sure, because I was Kevin McAllister in Home Alone when he puts the aftershave on, but with my chest. But whatever, it's part of the job.
For me, going into the match, the build up to it, the lead up to it all, my mind was running wild with thoughts and ideas and scenarios of what could happen, what might happen. But I never had a doubt that when a guy like Josh gets in there with someone like me, I knew it was going to be an all-out brawl. I knew that Josh is willing to leave it all in the ring, much like I am.
As pro wrestlers, you take a shot, you're like, oh man, hopefully that's it. And then very deep on in the match, he actually stuffed me for his finish, which is a Tiger Bomb. And when he did, he came down with such force, he buried his forehead directly in the bridge of my nose. And he actually said he heard my nose break upon contact. Like, he heard it crunch, and I didn't hear it. I didn't know. Everything went kind of white, and my eyes filled with tears and water, so I couldn't see. And it took me a little bit to figure out where I was. I wasn't knocked out or anything like that, but it was just one of those shots that makes you think. Like, the one thing that's kind of set me apart my entire career and kind of built this whole walking weapon character, or this Iron Man, or this standard, or whatever else people want to regard me as, is the fact that, when I get hit, when I start bleeding, when I'm hurt, I keep getting up and I don't stop. And, I through that, I show how much heart I have for this business. Like, the idea of stopping or slowing down never even crosses my mind, for better or for worse. And when my nose was shattered and bleeding all over the place, I think that just added a level of emotion. It made it that much more special, to show how much heart I had leading into the finish of that match. I have been in the ring with people. They'll take a shot, or they'll fall a wrong way, and they'll start bleeding, and they freak out. And it's understandable. It's a perfectly rational, reaction to something like that. As human beings, you were supposed to react like that. And I don't know why I'm not wired that way. The idea of stopping or slowing down or quitting just because I have a boo-boo has never crossed my mind. I was laying face down. The water was like kind of falling out of my eyes, and I was starting to get my vision back. And then I felt, that warm sensation, and I realized there was a pool of blood gathering around my nose and face and just growing in this puddle on the canvas. And it's gonna make me seem insane, but the one thing that crossed my mind is, this is awesome. Like, this is gonna make this that much better. Like, I could have cared less if I needed to go to the hospital and get my nose readjusted. I've done that countless times. You know what I mean? It's just, this is Bound for Glory. This is the main event. This is a marquee matchup. And that's just something that's going to elevate it and make people, remember this even more, make it that much more memorable.
Not every match, not, every day do you get these moments where you're in there, and as the match is carrying on, I gave Josh a Tiger Bomb, and he breaks his nose, and there's blood everywhere. And he said it. At that moment, it's like, either you can stay down, or You tell yourself it's time to get up. And at that moment, that's when it is the realest of real, because this is a real life scenario. This is a broken nose. This is blood. This is pain. This is what we are fighting for. This is what we're fighting through. And at that moment, it, like I said, takes it to the next level, but it makes it something greater than just professional wrestling. It's human. It's fighting for what you truly believe in, fighting for professional wrestling. We both love professional wrestling. We are out there displaying professional wrestling to the best of our ability. And if that takes a broken nose, if that takes a bloody chest, a bloody head, it doesn't matter. That's what professional wrestling means to us.
Physically, I have felt better, but that's usually the case after all my, at least marquee pay-per-view title defense matches lately. Every single one takes a piece of me, but it's so much more rewarding when you come to the back and you leave a piece of yourself in the ring in a match like that, something memorable. It makes it that much more fulfilling.
For me, I have to keep challenging myself, and every time we go out there into the ring, you challenge yourself, and I think that's why, again, I'm never going to be satisfied. The good ones are never satisfied, so every time it's like, oh, the next match, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go this. I want to try this. There's always something else. There's always something new to try, and it's just addictive where you're never going to complete. It's not a puzzle that you can put together and you're like, oh, I'm done. No, you're always working at it. You can always do something better. You can always evolve. You can always get something different out of the next match, and that is what I love about professional wrestling.
My entire goal and the thing that keeps me going and pushing and wanting to do more and more is to get that satisfaction from what I do when I'm out there, because that's my art. And, to elevate that art, to make it that much more memorable, you got to give a piece of yourself to every single piece.
Yeah, I feel okay. I've broken it where I've broken it, like my eyes gone like black, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, if you wake up in the morning and you got two black eyes, then
that might happen. It's floating now because I broke it up here and I never got fixed. I appreciate it. Great news. Thank you.
The attention spans of pro wrestling fans, the attention spans of pro wrestlers, the people in this business that are, pulling the strings behind the scenes to give people jobs. There's a very short attention span, so you're only as good as your last match is the saying in this business. And, if we're judging me off my last match right now, everybody, has really good things to say, but, I have another match coming up in just a couple weeks, and, I'm going to be judged on that one. They're going to forget the one that happened before that. So. But to leave myself completely vulnerable here, I'm just waiting for what's the other shoe to drop? Is that the saying? I could say I could think it's a dream and I want to pinch myself, but that's not how I feel. I just feel like, as good as people say I'm doing, there's that voice in the back of my head telling me that they're not genuine, that they're not honest, and that I'm really not doing that well. And that's the thing that pushes me. That's the thing that fuels me. Yes, but it's also that maybe lack of confidence that it's the thing I got to work on, I guess. I was a tadpole in a pond at the start of this journey, and I became a frog and jumped into a bigger pond and jumped into a lake, and now I'm in an ocean after dreaming this never possible, and I'm a shark myself, and just unpredictable.